Welcome to Movie Men with Greg and Mr. B. I am your host, Greg, and I am doing a solo episode. That's right. It's just going to be me. I'm just going to do a solo one because my co-host, Mr. B, he has never seen Dragon Ball Z. I know we've mentioned this in past episodes or one of the last few episodes we just did, but he's a few years older than me, so he was kind of out of the realm to talk about the show that I want to talk about, which is going to be Dragon Ball Z. I'm not a huge fan of anime. I'm not a huge fan. I don't like it. I don't like how cheesy it can be sometimes. But Dragon Ball Z has always been my favorite. It's always been my favorite. Ever since I was a kid. I started watching it in I believe it was 6th grade. By the way, I just want to apologize. It is storming outside right now, and you can definitely hear the creaks and croaks of the rain and the wind, so I'm sorry if that's distracting, but deal with it, yo. Anyways, I've been watching Dragon Ball Z since I was 6 years old, and along with watching Dragon Ball Z on Toonami back on, I believe it was Cartoon Network back in the day. I mean, I think it's still Cartoon Network, but it was on this thing called Toonami that would come on every day when I would get home from school. It's like Toonami knew that people my age would get out of school at a certain time, and they would play Dragon Ball Z. But it was cool because right before Dragon Ball Z would come on, there would be another show that came on right before it, and that was called Dragon Ball. Now, Dragon Ball it's an anime created by the same man, but this had come out way before Dragon Ball Z did. And by the way, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z came out years, and I mean years, before in Japan, before it was released here in the States, as you may say. I'm gonna be goofy, guys. I'm gonna be goofy out. I've never done a solo episode. I never thought I was gonna be as good as like Bill Burr or anything. Somebody who can really just talk to himself and do weird voices like this. Bill Burr sounds like this a lot when he's talking. That's not me, though. I'm not going to be doing all that weird stuff. I mean, I might. I don't know. I'm just kind of pondering some voices in my head, some thoughts. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But just hang in here with me. And by the way, if you don't want to listen to me talk by myself and you just adore Mr. B, it's okay to turn it off. I mean, I'd prefer if you listen to it, but if you want to turn it off, it's completely fine. But please don't turn it off. I mean, come on, guys. Give me a chance here. Come on. But anyways, like I said, before Dragon Ball Z would come on every day on Toonami, they would have the show Dragon Ball come on right before it. And I didn't really watch Dragon Ball too much. I mean, I've seen a lot of it, but if you're going to come to me now and ask me a lot of questions about Dragon Ball, I can maybe recall, I don't know, several things. Like, I think the biggest thing I can recall from Dragon Ball is the World Tournament where Master Roshi, he like gets all buff and he fights and stuff. And then I remember this one episode of Dragon Ball where it shows how Krillin got those 6 dots on his forehead, and that was because he got like branded by his like martial arts crew that he used to be in back in the day when he was a kid. Those are the things I remember. I don't remember too much about like the Red Ribbon Army and how Goku defeated him. I don't remember one episode about Piccolo King Piccolo being defeated by Goku or anything. I don't remember any of that, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie to you. But that's also why I'm not gonna do a Dragon Ball episode. I'm doing a Dragon Ball Z episode because Dragon Ball Z has shaped my life. And I know that sounds nerdy and it sounds geeky, but it's truth, yo. It's straight up truth, dog. I love Dragon Ball Z. And you know what? It's so cool because when I was a kid, everybody my age and a little younger and a little bit older watched Dragon Ball Z. It was the talk of the town in every town. It was so cool. I mean, like, I remember this joy that I got out of it when I'd come home from school. I mean, should I have been excited about coming home and doing my homework? I mean, maybe in a perfect world, in a parent's world, that's what they want their kids to be excited about coming home. But no, not me. I was excited about Dragon Ball Z. That's what I was freaking excited about. Kamehamehas? Spirit bombs? Super Saiyans? Super Saiyan 3s? What? Get at me? Super Saiyan 3, get at me? Oh, man. Super Saiyan 4s? But that's Dragon Ball GT. That's a whole different series. That's not even connected to Dragon Ball Z. But I just wanted to share how much this has impacted my life. Let me give you a little backstory about me, okay? My entire life, since I've been a little kid, and I remember, these are stories that my grandmother and my mom remember about me, and they tell me this. When I was a kid, it took forever for me to talk, okay? I mean, I wasn't 3 and not talking or anything, but I wasn't talking that much because what I would like to do is whenever I wanted something, I would draw it with my finger in the air. Like my mom would go, Greg, what do you want? Or more so, what do you want, Gregory? Because that's my real name, is Gregory. I go by Greg. But my mom would go, Gregory, what do you want? And instead of going, I want milk, what I would do is I would draw the outline of a milk carton. And I mean, imagine like a 2-3-year-old doing this, right? I mean, I don't know what I was drawing then, but I would draw it in the air and like make my grandma and my mom and my dad figure out what I wanted, you know, and for the most part, they kind of figured it out. So, I mean, I must have had some skill at that age. But the reason why I'm saying that is because all through my entire life, I've been into drawing and not painting, not oil pastels, none of that. It's always been strict pencil to paper. I loved sketching. I've always loved sketching. Like I said, I used to doodle in the air when I wanted something, and then I grew up a little bit, and I was probably 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, all the way till 9, 10, and I would constantly draw. I was always that kid in my class who, whenever there would be like, you know, get into a group of 3 or 4 of your classmates, and you guys are going to decorate a banner. You guys are going to draw a picture representing, you know, patriotic times. You guys are going to do something like that. When I would be in a class and I'd be in a group, I was always designated the quote unquote like the drawer. You know what I'm saying? I'm the drawer because I was always like, I guess, the best drawer in class. And I mean, I'm not gonna like brag too much, but I mean, I would draw all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? I would draw all day. I love it. I've always loved it, and I was always drawing whatever I was into at the time. So whether it be like Spider-Man, I remember endless drawings of Spider-Man. I would draw him all the time. I drew like as many X-Men as I could draw. Every time I would like watch Rugrats, I would try to draw Chucky's hair. And I could never freaking get it right. I mean, you would think it's just like a bunch of little squiggles coming out of the Rugrat Chucky's hair. But you know what? It's a lot harder to draw than you think it is. And then, you know, I started watching Family Guy. I watched The Simpsons. I started drawing Bart. Started drawing Stewie. Started drawing all that. You grow up a little bit, now you're into, like, guess what? Dragon Ball Z. And I will say, Dragon Ball Z is so intricate the way they draw the muscle form, the way they draw the hair. It might not look hard to draw, but to nail it, just to nail it perfectly right when you're drawing it, out of memory especially, it's almost impossible. It's like you gotta sketch it. That's how hard it is, you know? But anyways, so the backstory about me. I drew when I was a kid in the air when I wanted something. Whenever I was in class in elementary school, I was always designated the drawing kid for every art project because I was always, quote-unquote, the best drawer. And then 6th grade rolls around, okay? 6th grade, people. So I was probably 12. I think I was 11, 12 or so in 6th grade. And my buddy, I remember my old friend Josh, he was like, do you watch Dragon Ball Z? And I was like, what's Dragon Ball Z? And he was like, oh, you should watch it. Come over to my house and we'll watch it. And at first, I didn't really like it so much because, you know, I will admit, between action scenes, there's a lot of filler. There's a lot of, like, stare offs. Okay, so sometimes, you know, it can get a little boring, especially as a kid. You know, and that's kind of like the episodes I started watching were ones where it was mainly just like, I'm stronger than you. No, Frieza, I'm stronger than you. You know, it's kind of like that. And so, a little boring sometimes. But the first time I saw them fighting, I was like, wow, this is so cool. You know, this is like wrestling in real life, but on paper. You know, this is like amazing. I love it. And so I just started drawing Dragon Ball Z. And then growing up, I drew it more and more. And growing it more and more, I started expanding. If you go on my Instagram and you scroll way down in the history of that, I mean, I've got some recent pictures from like 2 years ago where I'm drawing Dragon Ball Z. I'm drawing Vegeta. I'm drawing Piccolo. I'm drawing, all of them, I don't know. I love it. I remember mimicking the Kamehameha. I remember standing in the front yard with my buddy, and we're like Dragon Ball Z style fighting. I remember that this show had such an influence on the kids my age that I remember there was a 7th grade fight one time between this one kid and this other kid. And they were straight up Dragon Ball Z fighting. Like straight up Dragon Ball Z fighting. There was no like street fighting skills. There was no like on the ground wrestling. Like they were like doing Dragon Ball Z fighting. I was like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be like, wow, look at the fight, or just like dying laughing because these two dudes are fighting Dragon Ball Z style. It was freaking crazy. But the reason why I'm telling you this backstory about me and drawing is because Dragon Ball Z has honestly shaped my life. I loved drawing Dragon Ball Z so much that I found a huge love for art in many different shapes and forms. But one of the forms that I found it in that I loved doing, that I did for several years, was tattooing. I was so influenced by the show that I loved tattooing, and I loved paying attention to detail because Dragon Ball Z had so much detail in the artwork. And I can say that strongly. It's so good. I love it. I went to go get 3 Dragon Ball Z characters tattooed on my arm. Okay? And the artist who did it effed it up. I'm not going to lie. This dude effed it up. And it sucks because, like, when he messed up, he literally messed up in the middle of my tattoo. And I was, like, watching him do it. And I was like, hey, dude, I don't think his eyebrows are supposed to be black. He's a Super Saiyan. I think they're supposed to be yellow. Even though, like, I really wanted to say, what the fuck, dude? You messed up, man. Those are supposed to be yellow. You just messed my arm up for life. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. He's like, I've never drawn an anime tattoo before. I've never done anime. I'm like, why would you agree to tattoo somebody anime style if you've never done anime? God, man, that pissed me off so freaking bad. And I had to go in and I went to one of my good tattoo artist friends and I had him do his best. And he did his best and it looks pretty darn good now. But, just knowing that the fact that my Majin Vegeta eyes and eyebrows are not the right color, it just pisses me off royally every time I look at it. And kids, if you think about getting a tattoo, listen to my podcast. Because those things are for life, just like herpes. So be careful who you let tattoo you, and be careful who you kiss if they have a cold sore. Have a good day. Stay in school. Stay off drugs. Give hugs and love. Okay, I thought I said I wasn't going to do voices like Bill Burr, but you know what? I guess I can kind of see why he does it. Because I'm talking to myself here. I'm sitting here in my studio with my feet kicked up, in the dark, with one tiny little light in the corner. And I'm just kicked back, yo. I'm chilling. I'm trying to also fill like maybe an hour's worth of a podcast, without the conversation that Mr. B can give me. So like I said, this is my first time doing this by myself. And this isn't a regular thing. This is just I'm trying to get some filler episodes in, as you may say, for Dragon Ball Z. Because you're going to be listening to this in the future of me recording right now. Sometime probably in May. And this is after my daughter's been born. My little daughter. So I'm not going to have all the time in the world to podcast, for that first few months. So I'm trying to get some backup episodes filled in for you guys. Because I commit to this, you know what I mean? I love the feedback that I've been getting from the listeners. I love the growth that I'm seeing visually. I just dig it. So I love podcasting. I don't want to stop doing it, but I have to be a husband at the end of the day. I have to be a father at the end of the day. And I can't leave my wife to just be a mother by herself while I'm out here doing a podcast. You know what I mean? And anybody who doesn't understand that probably is not a husband or a father. And if you are, maybe you should rethink your priorities. So that's why I'm in here by myself trying to do a few solo episodes. So I might get off topic. Forgive me. But anyways, what I want to say is that Dragon Ball Z has shaped my life. It changed the way I drew as a child. It changed me to try and go down a career path of tattooing because I love drawing that much. But also what was cool was that it was a huge bang in 6th grade to about 7th, 8th grade. Dragon Ball Z was a huge bang. Everybody loved it. And then you didn't hear about it for many, many years. Except from me. If you ever talk to me, I never let it go. I always thought Dragon Ball Z was cool. I always loved it. One of my best friends who lives in Nevada, him and I he was just as much of a nerd about Dragon Ball Z as me. And we would play the video games. We would just kick it and draw Dragon Ball Z pictures. We honestly talked about it all the time. One of my first tattoos I ever did was on him, and I did a Super Saiyan Goku doing a Kamehameha. I mean, I just love it. It's always stuck with me. And it wasn't till recently, I'd say within the last 5 years or so, that you started hearing about Dragon Ball Z again. And I remember telling everybody in the world, I'm like, hey, do you remember Dragon Ball Z? And people it seemed like I just shed a light on the shadow that was Dragon Ball Z for them. They'd be like, oh my gosh, oh snap, yeah, I remember Dragon Ball Z. You got Vegeta, Krillin, Piccolo, Bulma. And I'm like, yeah, Dragon Ball Z, yeah. I'm like, dude, don't be afraid to talk about this. This stuff is cool, dude. It's still cool. And they'd be like, yeah, you know what I mean? Coworkers and I would start talking about it. Friends that I met would start talking about it. And I mean, I'm not going to try and take sole responsibility for the rebirth of Dragon Ball Z, but I'm not going to lie. I kind of feel like somehow in the world I released the Dragon Ball Z bug back in people. And now this crap is rocking, dude. This crap is rocking hard. Dragon Ball Z is back in the mix. It's back in the mix so much that they started Dragon Ball Super. And if any of you have not seen Dragon Ball Super, go on your on-demand, go on the internet. They have 2 episodes in English dub right now released. Check that out. It's pretty boring. It's pretty boring so far. But, I mean, if anybody follows DBZ like I do and stuff, they already pretty much know how Dragon Ball Super plays out. So basically, you kind of just got to get through the first few episodes to kind of just start getting into the meats, the meat and potatoes, as Mr. B says, of Dragon Ball Super. Kamehameha! No, I'm not going to do that. But I do want to talk about it. And I was debating, do I want to break this up into maybe a 2-parter, 3-parter, do a few seasons at a time? And I was going to, but to be honest, no, I already got enough trouble probably filling in an hour by myself. So I'm going to just talk about Dragon Ball Z Season 1 through Season 9. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to try and drop some knowledge on y'all fools. I'm going to try and drop some Dragon Ball Z facts, okay? The topic that we're doing today, this week, is Dragon Ball Z. This came to the States. This came to English dub. This came to America. As far as my knowledge knows, it's just America. I mean, I don't know in Scotland. I don't know in England. I don't know when that was all released. But as far as I can say, Dragon Ball Z was released here in America in 1996. The show aired, This show aired from 1996 to 2003. It was a TV series. Every episode was roughly 24 minutes. It was anime. It was action. It was adventure. It was rated TV PG. This wasn't your typical little kid show that just every little kid could watch. There was violence. There was extreme violence. There were some perverted moments from Mr. Roshi himself, Mr. Master Roshi. And there was just so much fighting, and there was blood, and there was limbs from Piccolo being ripped off and stuff. You know what I mean? So no, this isn't gonna be a PG-13 type rating. Definitely not an R anime rated version or anything, but it's definitely not G. I don't think 3 or 4-year-old should be watching DBZ. I'd say your typical 6th grader could have started it, and it was pretty appropriate for that. IMDb gives Dragon Ball Z an 8.8 out of 10. Okay, that's 82,367 times that was voted on, an 8.8 out of 10. I mean, I don't know who the people are who do the IMDb stats, but I think an 8.8 out of 10 is pretty good. That's pretty good. Especially this show nowadays is nostalgic. If this were to be a brand new show, I mean, not talking about Super now. I'm talking about the Dragon Ball Z. If this were to come out now, and I were to watch this now, I probably would be like, definitely the first season and part of the second season, I definitely would have stopped watching it. I'm not going to lie. Because there's a lot of like stuff with Baby Gohan that I do not care about. He meets this robot and that, you know what I mean? And like in a cave, he like fights a dinosaur. Like, I don't know. That kind of stuff to me, like I could live without it. I like to see my hero fighting the main villains. I like to see my hero overcome whatever strengths that villain has. That's what I like. So, it doesn't really get into that until we meet Raditz, okay? And I'm not going to jump all over the board. I'm going to go in pretty much seasonal chronological order. But I am going to say that I am going to get into the plot of Dragon Ball Z. The plot of Dragon Ball Z goes as so. After learning that he is from another planet, a warrior named Goku and his friends are prompted to defend it from an onslaught of extraterrestrial enemies. If you didn't catch that second to last word was extraterrestrial. So I'm going to say it again. Extraterrestrial enemies. So that's the plot of Dragon Ball Z. To sum it up, Goku he's a Saiyan, okay? There's a bunch of different races, like ethnicities in the universe. You got your Namekians from the planet Namek. That's like Piccolo. You've got your Saiyans. And that's, you got Raditz, you got Vegeta, you got Goku, you even got Brawly. If you dig into the movies of Dragon Ball Z, they have Brawly, he's another Saiyan. And then you got the little half-breeds. You got Trunks, who he belongs to Vegeta, that's Vegeta's son. He's half human, half Saiyan. You got Gohan, he's half human, half Saiyan. Later on down the series, you also get Goten, Goku's other son. He's also a little half-breed boy. He's half Saiyan, half human. They come from the Saiyan planet, which was destroyed by Frieza. Okay, I'll get into that later on. But basically, Goku is a Saiyan, and when Goku is a Saiyan, and when Frieza destroys his home planet, before that happens, Goku's family sends him in a little space pod down to a planet called Earth. And as a baby, Goku is raised as a human. Okay? But he's always... What the F was that? Holy crap. You guys hear that storm? It better not have been my car, yo. Anyways, I'm sorry for the distraction. But basically, he's sent down to Earth as a baby, and he's raised as a human. And so he views himself as a human. Even though he knows he's a Saiyan, he's always got this famous saying, saying, that he always says whenever he meets someone, I'm Goku. I am a Saiyan raised here on Earth. So he never once is like, I'm an Earthling. He always knows that he's a Saiyan, and he knows where he comes from. But, he's raised as an Earthling, so he's a protector of Earth. Okay? I'm going to get into the cast and crew of Dragon Ball Z. Okay, they go through a few different voice actors throughout the series, but you have some hard hitters. You have the ones that have stayed around, and I'm going to get into that guy right there. His name is Schemmel. Sorry if I pronounce it wrong, but he plays Goku. God, this guy is amazing. This guy is a role model for voice actors, in my opinion. He plays Goku. He played Goku for 204 episodes, and I freaking love this guy's loyalty to this show. He's done all the voice acting for the games. He's done the voice acting for the show. He does the voice acting for the reboot, I guess you can say, in a way, called Dragon Ball Kai. Is it Dragon Ball Z Kai or Dragon Ball Kai? I don't know. I don't watch it. It's basically like a kid versioned Dragon Ball Z. It's the same exact show, but they shorten it and they make it less graphic. I'm not a fan of that. I've seen a few episodes. I prefer my OG Dragon Ball Z, as you will. But Schemmel, he plays Goku. He's got an amazing voice. I love it. And we also have Christopher Sabat. He does several voices. He does Piccolo, and he also does Vegeta. I want to mention this guy because he's not anybody in the show, but he's the narrator. He's the guy who goes, next time on Dragon Ball Z. Like that guy. That's Doc Harris, and he's the narrator. Hats off to that guy. I don't know if he's still kicking... or if he's old, I don't know. Doc kind of sounds like an old name to me. But But we also got Terry Klassen. He plays the voice of Krillin. Krillin. He's awesome. He's a little, I don't know the word for him. He's kind of a wimp, in a way. Well, hi, Goku. No, I can't do it. I'm not going to try and do voices here. I'm sorry. We also have Scott Mcneil, who plays Piccolo's voice. I'm not sure who played it first, but he's also one of the voice actors. We also have Brian. What's his name? What's his last name? Brian something. He plays Vegeta. I think he probably played the early Vegeta. And then Christopher Sabat, he probably plays the later Vegeta. And then we have Sonny Strait, who plays Krillin. And he plays, I think he plays the current Krillin. Yeah. Oh, I could just go down the line now of all these people. I'm not going to do that, though. Yeah, definitely not going to do that. Those are like the main dudes. Those are the heavy hitters of Dragon Ball Z. Okay. Let's see. We got any trivia? We do have some trivia. That's a long trivia. All right. Here's some trivia. Frieza and Goku's fight in Namek is the longest battle in anime history, with a duration of a little over 4 hours. Okay. Remember what I was saying, where they do a lot of filler stuff? They do a lot of talking, a lot of stare downs, a lot of, wow, I can see I've underestimated your power, as have I, Goku. You know, stuff like that. That's a lot of filler. A lot of, 1-2 punches, and then, boom, off in your separate corners, like, ha, you're a lot stronger than I thought you were. This is going to be fun. I see, Goku. I'm not sure if I'm a guy or a girl. Here's another fact. Cell has a very good voice. Ha ha ha, Goku. Kind of sounds like that. Cell is the only main villain that Goku never bites during battle. Ha! I never knew that. Ha! And that brings up a lot of memories in the fights that Goku has. Especially I recall this part with Majin Buu towards the end when he's Super Saiyan 3 and he's fighting Kid Buu. They're fighting back and forth, punches here, punches there, knee blows here, face kicks here, and then they start scrambling a little bit, and Majin Buu bites Goku, and he's like, ah! And then they scramble again, and then Goku is biting him. I love Goku because Goku's not one of those dudes who thinks he's just badass. He's not one of those dudes that just is like Vegeta in a way. Vegeta's prideful. He doesn't like to look like a clown, as he says about about Goku a lot. Ah, Kakarot! Stop acting like a clown! He doesn't really act like that. But Goku, on the other hand, Goku is the most lighthearted, loving, lovable character in the show. He's just sweet, you know what I mean? And even when it comes down, for the most part, when it comes down to the villains, Goku, he doesn't just for the most part, he doesn't just jump up and go, I will kill you. He doesn't do that. He comes up and he's like, hi, I'm Goku. You look like a fun guy to fight. You know, he's always been down to train. He always wants to train and get stronger. Even when there's no threat, even when there's no villain, you'll always find Vegeta and Goku training. Because Goku, his logic behind everything is, I gotta always one up myself. He's never in competition with anybody. He never tries to one up anybody else. He's always just in competition with himself. Because he's like, wow, I've gotten strong. Oof, I defeated that enemy, but I need to go train some more. Well, why do you need to go train, Goku? You just defeated the enemy. That's true. But there's always somebody stronger out there. And when I encounter him, I want to be prepared. I want to know that I can take on anybody type thing, And he's very humble. That's Goku's character. He's humble. But he's also the defender of what's good. He defends the people of Earth. He defends the people that he loves. And that's what's so humbling about him. Vegeta, on the other hand, he is a Saiyan, and Saiyans have my pride! Vegeta's always got his Saiyan pride, okay? And that can get in the way of a lot of things. There's times where Vegeta needs to, tap in and let Goku or somebody else fight the battle, but he won't, because he needs to be the one that wins. and that ultimately like can be his demise. He also has a son named Trunks, and there's a scene in an episode where he's fighting Cell, where Cell is going to evolve into another level. He just needs a minute to do that. And instead of Vegeta conquering him and killing him and saving the planet, well, Vegeta hears, wait, there's a way that you can become stronger? There's a way that you can be more of a challenge for me? Basically, the bigger the tree, the bigger the fall? Well, I want to know what that kind of battle looks like, because I'm prideful, and I want to fight the best. I want to be known as the best warrior in the universe. He wants to be the best. And that can be his downfall. You know, his pride is his downfall, and that's always, in my opinion, why Goku beats him. Why Goku always surpasses him, just by a hair at least. He always surpasses Vegeta, because Goku's head is in the right spot. Except for when it comes to being a parent. I don't know if I accidentally messed up and just said Vegeta, but when Goku is supposed to be a dad, he is the worst dad ever. He is so bad. He could care less about his kid and his wife. I mean, I can't tell you how many scenes I can count on my fingers where he is actually being a loving husband. He's always like, "Aw, Chi-Chi, do I have to be a dad? Do I have to run errands? I just want to go up to King Kai's planet and train." And she's like, "No, Goku, you need to be a husband." And he's like, "Oh, I guess, but I just want to train." He's all about that train, no housework. He's all about that training, no housework. Guys, please disregard what I just did. I'm also going to share this piece of information. In Dragon Ball Z, not counting any movies or any specials, Goku only killed 2 villains, Yakon and Kid Buu. He didn't kill Frieza. He didn't kill Cell. He only killed Yakon, I don't know. I don't even know who that guy is. Weird. And Kid Buu. Another fact, there are only 25, oh, not only, there are over 25 variants of the Kamehameha. Really? Well, what? I mean, what are they counting here? Like when he puts his hands to the left side? When he puts his hands to the right side? The one-handed Kamehameha? I don't know. I don't know what they're counting as 25, but, yeah. Here's another one. Namekians. That's Piccolo's type of people. Namekians reproduce asexually by extracting eggs from their throats. So the way Namekians are born is not by sex. They don't have sex. That's probably why Piccolo is so pissed all the time. They reproduce by extracting eggs from their throats. Interesting. Here's one. Vegeta would technically be the quote-unquote king of all Saiyans instead of the prince, because his father was killed by Frieza, thus making him the rightful heir to the throne. However, he most likely does not call himself king out of respect for his fallen father. Wow. I mean, if you're talking about pride here, and you're talking about Saiyan pride, I mean, Vegeta feels that so strongly that even though he is the rightful owner of the name King Vegeta, he respects his dad, who was King Vegeta, and he had fallen. So Vegeta will always honor his father. That's enough trivia, folks. I'm going to tell you some ups and some downs of this TV show, okay? Some ups, okay? Some freaking ups, okay? There are some effing ups, okay? And I don't mean like F-ups. I mean like some freaking ups of this show, okay? There are some ups, and let me get into what they are. What they are is Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, the Ascended Saiyan. You have Super Saiyan 3. You have Super Saiyan God. I'm not going to get into that because that's one of the Battle of the Gods movies. But in the series of Dragon Ball Z, there are several transformations that Goku and a lot of other characters go through. Not just Goku. But they are so amazing that I can't even describe them. But I'm going to describe them, because what kind of podcast would I be if I didn't know how to describe things vividly? It starts off, I'm just, scratch all this, okay? This is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about season 1 through 9 right now. The show starts off coming out of the end of Dragon Ball, okay? And at the end of Dragon Ball, I believe, don't, give me crap if I'm wrong, but at the end of Dragon Ball, it's, I believe it's when King Piccolo gets killed by Goku, I think. I don't know. I don't remember. But in the beginning, that's kind of where it takes place, is that Goku, he has killed King Vegeta, and now he's here living a life of peace or whatever. And then what happens is there are 2 Saiyans somehow left in the universe that weren't killed by Frieza, okay? They're on their way down to Earth because they know that Goku, quote-unquote, Kakarot. Okay, Kakarot is Goku's Saiyan name. Goku is his on-Earth name, his Earthling name. But his you'll hear it back and forth throughout the series. Goku, Kakarot. And you know who they're talking about because you just know that history, okay? Vegeta always refers to Goku as Kakarot. So Goku's on planet Earth doing what he does, training with Master Roshi, all that good stuff. He meets a wife, back in the day, but he has a wife. Her name is Chi-Chi. Together they have a son named Gohan. He's a little boy. I think he's like 3, I want to say. Maybe 4, maybe 2. I don't know. But he's a little boy, okay? And in the beginning of the show, you have these 2 Saiyans called Nappa and... I can't believe I'm blanking on this. Raditz and Nappa, okay? They come down, and Raditz is actually Goku's brother, come to find out, right? And they come down, and they come to take Goku back pretty much, like come back with us, and this and that. And Goku's like, no, I'm a Earthling now. Like, I'm here on Earth. I'm a Saiyan, yes, by blood. But now Earth is my place. Earth is my planet, and I'm here with my family and stuff like that. And so... there's a big epic fight, and Goku gets pretty messed up, right? And I'm not going to go like scene by scene throughout this, but those are the 2 main villains of the beginning season. It's Raditz and Nappa. And then somehow they get away, okay? And Piccolo ends up taking Gohan, and Piccolo's like, I'm going to train Gohan. So he trains Gohan. That's often a different subplot of the show. And then Goku's training. And then, like, throughout the series, they have a fight. And Goku actually dies when he's fighting Raditz. Because even though Piccolo comes back and he is still, like, kind of a bad guy at this point, him and Vegeta... God, I keep saying this. I'm sorry, guys. Piccolo and Goku know that they have to kind of form, like, a temporary alliance in order to beat... Raditz and Nappa, even though they don't beat Nappa yet. Oh, wait, I'm completely wrong. Nappa comes down with Vegeta later on. I'll get into that. Raditz comes by himself, I believe. And Piccolo and Goku know that they need to come together in an alliance in order to beat Raditz. He's just too powerful. So they come up with this plan where Piccolo has his signature fight move. It's called the Special Beam Cannon, where he puts his 2 forefingers on his forehead and he charges up a lot of energy. And throughout the show, guys, they do a whole lot of like, it's like, they're like, it's kind of like they're constipated in a way. And they're like, and they're like charging up their energy. It's like their ki. They're charging it up. And Goku somehow tricks Raditz, and he jumps behind him and he puts him like in an arm bar, or not arm bar, but he like, how when you get behind somebody and you grab their arms from behind so they can't move, and he's like, Piccolo, no! And then Piccolo shoots off his special beam cannon, and it goes right through Raditz and right through Goku, and so it kills Goku. And it's sad because you're like, oh my gosh, like they just killed Goku. Like this is like season 1 or something, or season 2 or one of them. And it's season 1, and like they just killed Goku, like the main character, the hero of the show. They just killed him. What the heck? And so he ends up, he dies, but they ended up killing Raditz and stuff. And so Piccolo continues on training Gohan after that. Also, Goku goes into basically heaven it's like the afterworld, and he goes in there and he still has his body because he was pure. And when you're pure and you didn't do anything wrong, instead of going to hell, you get to maintain your body if you were good, and you get to stay in heaven with like a halo pretty much. He hears about this thing called Snake Road, and it's like a bajillion miles long. And once you get there, you'll meet a guy named King Kai, and King Kai is like, "Hey Goku, you talk like this" when he talks. and he gets training from King Kai. While he's training with King Kai, he learns this technique. It's called Kaio-Ken. It's basically like you charge your ki up again, and it basically puts you to another level of strength. Your body mass gets bigger, your muscle mass gets bigger, and you get stronger. And so he learns the way of that. Also, while he's learning, he also learns that there's like Kaio-Ken times 10, Kaio-Ken times 20, Kaio-Ken times 100. You know, like, I know it sounds cheesy, guys, I know. But if you're a fan of DBZ, it sounds awesome. And he gets this new fight in him. He gets this new strength that he never had. While he's gone, there are these two more Saiyans that come. And this is where I kind of messed up in the beginning, so my apologies. Nappa and Vegeta come. And Vegeta and Nappa, they come down in these pods and these space pods, and they come down and they basically they just want to like conquer everything and kill everything and stuff. And so while Goku's up training in the other world and whatnot, Vegeta is just like destroying all the friends of Goku, and he's like killing everybody and like fighting them and stuff like that. And they're trying to fight. And this has been several years later, so Gohan's a little older at this point. And they're trying to fight Vegeta and like stop him and everything. And there's a lot of filler, a lot of talking back and forth, and a few fights. And it seems like there's no hope. And then Goku comes back from the other world, and he's really strong. And then here's where you have this epic, huge fight between Goku and Vegeta. It's amazing. It's awesome. And basically, Goku almost loses, but it takes the last of his energy and gives it to Krillin. And Krillin like kind of makes this like energy ball and fires it at Vegeta and like hits Vegeta, and like it doesn't kill him, but it basically like leaves him to almost die. And then Vegeta somehow like escapes in his pod instead of the people killing him, because Goku's like, guys, no, don't kill him. Instead of killing Vegeta, they kind of like let him go, and he flies back back to wherever he came from, probably wherever Frieza is, and he's getting healed and whatnot and stuff. And then Goku trains a little more and this and that. Then they hear about these Dragon Balls, and there's these Dragon Balls, and what they do is if you get 7 Dragon Balls, you can make a wish where you get like 1 wish or something like that. I think it's 1 at the time. And so they find out that these Dragon Balls are on this planet called Namek. And so Bulma and Krillin and Gohan take this trip up to Namek to try and find the Dragon Balls. While they're looking for the Dragon Balls, there's also another villain called Frieza. He's also has this henchman looking for Dragon Balls because, you know, anybody who collects them gets to make the wish. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't decide who it wants to give a wish to. Basically, whoever gets it gets the wish. Frieza wants to collect all the balls, and he wants to be able to, you know, be the strongest and invincible and stuff. Vegeta is also now on planet Namek later on. This is later on, okay? Right now I'm going through season 1 through 9. And this is also later on. And Vegeta is also on Namek looking for the balls. And so our guys, our team, they're looking for the balls. So everybody's looking for the balls. And eventually, you know, Frieza has most of them. Somehow they find all the balls and blah, 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 go so on. And they come into a giant fight with Frieza, where basically like Frieza is fighting our guys and stuff, and Goku hears wind of it, and so he's on his way to Namek, training in his ship on the way there, and it's taken a while to get to Namek. And so while it's taken a while, Frieza starts, you know, killing off a few people, fighting a few people, and eventually Goku comes and saves the day. But I want to talk in detail about this, okay? This is the first time throughout this giant 4-hour battle between Frieza and Goku that we hear of a Super Saiyan. Okay, we've always heard of the legendary Super Saiyan, but you don't know what it is. You've never seen it. You don't know what it is. You just have heard about it. It's a myth. It's the long gone Super Saiyan. You never heard of him. And then throughout the fight, there's this point where Frieza takes Krillin, and he kind of does this like force, like the force choke in a way from Star Wars, and he like lifts Krillin up in the air, and he blows Krillin up and he kills Krillin. Frieza kills Krillin. And Krillin is Goku's best friend, okay? Remember that. And Goku goes insane. And he was like, that was my friend. Like, you monster. And he kind of goes in this daze. Like, where he's just like, I can't believe you just did that. And and he's like getting really, really pissed. And he's like powering up kind of. And he does something where he's like, I killed that stupid Earthling or something like that, right? And Goku loses it, and he goes, he has a name. He was my friend. His name is Krillin! And he, like, goes nuts, and then just, like, I'm not going to let you kill anyone anymore. And he, like, loses it because, like, the ones he loves are getting killed left and right. And all of a sudden, you just see this epic transformation where Goku's black hair, like, sticks straight up, and this, like, yellow aura goes around him, and he just, like, powers up, and he becomes the legendary Super Saiyan. And it is amazing because no one's seen it ever. Okay, he's the first one to ever do it. And him and Frieza get in this epic fight that lasts a lot longer after that, too. And they fight, and they just get... Oh, it's so freaking good. It's so epic, and it's so, like, amazing when that happens. And after that, man, it's just amazing. Goku, he defeats him. You know, I'm not going to get into how this happens, but basically Goku, like, defeats him. And since Goku is humble and he's not a monster, he's like, no, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to let you live. But, you know, the planet is blowing up around us, so I'm just going to leave you here to die. But I'm not going to kill you. And Goku leaves Frieza and stuff. And then later on, these androids... guys, I'm jumping around the story. But after that happens, later on down the line... There's this mysterious man. His name is Trunks, okay? And he's called Future Trunks. And Future Trunks comes down, and he basically comes from the future and says, hey, I have a message for Goku. Where's Goku? And the whole clan is like, Goku's not here yet. He's not back from Namek yet. And in the meantime, Frieza was found in space, and he was remade into, like, Mecha Frieza, like a robot Frieza. And he comes back down, and him and his dad... They come down and they're like, I'm gonna get revenge on that stupid Saiyan, right? And when they're there, Trunks is like, nope, not gonna happen, and just completely slices Frieza in half and kills all his henchmen, and that's like amazing. And Trunks is also a Super Saiyan, so it's like, how are you a Super Saiyan? He's like, I'm from the future. I'm also Vegeta's son, Vegeta and Bulma's son. So you find out that Bulma and Vegeta eventually in the future get together, and they have a baby, and that's Trunks. And Trunks comes from the future with a message to give to Goku saying that there are going to be these horrible androids that are going to destroy all of the people, all of the friends, and basically take over the planet. But that's not how Goku is going to die. The message that Trunks has to give to Goku is that you're going to die from a stupid heart murmur, basically. Like you're going to have a heart disease, and it's going to kill you. And Trunks comes with the antidote for that heart disease. So when that time comes, Goku's going to need to take that medicine, right? So then the androids eventually come. And they're starting to fight the friends, and they're really, really strong. But Goku is definitely going to be able to beat these androids, okay? So Goku is fighting these two androids. Android, what is it? 19 and 20. Okay, Dr. Gero and Android 19, I think. I believe that's who they are. Yeah. And he's fighting them, but the problem is his heart thing is starting to kick into place, so he's losing. And these droids are like killing Goku pretty much and stuff, right? And right when you think like hope is gone and Goku's not going to win, all of a sudden, boom, Vegeta comes out of nowhere, and he just starts wrecking these androids. And he's also a Super Saiyan. And you're like, whoa, what the F? Vegeta's a Super Saiyan? How the frickin' frick did this happen? Right? And then it goes into a backstory about like when Vegeta found out that Goku became Super Saiyan, it like enraged him so much that he ended up achieving great Super Saiyan form. So there's that. And Vegeta completely just like kills the fat android, and Dr. Gero android gets away. And Dr. Gero is, by the way, he's the creator of the androids, but he like made himself an android. I don't know, it's confusing. But Dr. Gero somehow gets away, and he needs to unleash these other two more superior androids called 17 and 18. and he releases them, and they're way stronger, and they actually turn their back on Dr. Gero and kill Dr. Gero. That's how evil they are. They're like, we're not going to keep you alive, and there's a chance that you can stop us. Like, no, we're going to kill you, creator. Sorry. And they kill him, and, geez, there's so much freaking stuff to talk about. I'm going to have to turn this into a two-parter. I'm going to keep going, but I'm going to have to turn this into a two-parter up until we reach Cell. I'm probably going to get to Cell. I don't know. We'll see. We'll keep going. Like I said, guys, my apologies if this is a little hard to follow. I've never done a solo podcast before. So, where are we? So, androids 17 and 18, they're far more superior than Dr. Gero and the other android. So, those two died, and androids 17 and 18 are alive. They also wake up this other android called Android 16, who Android 16 was specifically programmed to defeat Goku. Okay? 17 and 18 were programmed, to destroy everything, but 16, his only mission in his robot life was to kill Goku. And so there's 3 androids on the loose right now, and they are strong. I mean strong. And I mean our guys get defeated by the androids, bad. Vegeta even gets his arm broken by the girl android. It's crazy. It's crazy, guys, I'm telling you. And so basically the only thing that these guys can do is train while the androids are destroying everything and fight them. But Goku's out right now. He's hurt. Oh man, it's so sad. You just want Goku to be a part of this, but he's not. And man, and while that happens, I believe Future Trunks or somebody, I can't remember now, but somebody is going through the forest and they find this giant weird alien shell, kind of like a snake skin. They find it and it's in the shape of this weird alien, and they're like, what the heck is this, right? Come to find out that this is this alien android type thing that's called Cell. Okay? Now follow along with me with Cell. Cell is this weird I am Cell, and he's weird, and he can absorb people's energy with his tail. He stabs them in the freaking chest and stuff, and absorbs their life and makes them stronger and stronger. And the only way to defeat this guy is, obviously, it's kind of like a leapfrog effect. Let me put it this way: we have a bad guy that's strong, so our guys need to get stronger, and then the bad guy gets stronger, so now our guys need to get stronger. Basically, this whole show in a nutshell is just about getting stronger and stronger and taking on stronger enemies. Okay, so now Cell is stronger than all these androids. He's stronger than our guys. So everybody's trying to train and get stronger and fight and survive against these androids. And now this new thing called Cell, who's destroying and wiping out the Earth. He's killing everybody on Earth. So Piccolo goes up to this place called the Lookout, or I think that's what it's called. I don't remember. But basically, the Lookout it has this guy, this old Namekian, really old Namekian named Kami. And he is the guardian of Earth. He is the one who, protects Earth and Goku really protects Earth. But Kami is the one who's, the guardian of Earth. And the only way that Piccolo can get stronger to fight is if he, engulfs himself with Kami. If they combine their bodies into one body. And so, it's kind of funny because old Kami and young Piccolo, they combine. And now Piccolo has this super strength, and his new name, which everyone still calls him Piccolo, but his new name is Super Namek or Super Namekian or something like that. He becomes super strong. And there's this amazing fight where Cell and Piccolo go face to face, and Piccolo is just freaking wrecking Cell because he is so strong. It's amazing. I love it. And it's so cool when Piccolo is powering up. You can just see this crater form in the earth around him because he's so powerful. It's so cool. And by the way, I want to say this. Any of our loyal fans and listeners that are listening to this who have never seen Dragon Ball Z, I don't expect this to really make sense to you. I'm basically doing this episode for the actual DBZ fans, the people that have actually seen it. So when I'm saying, Namekian, and I'm saying Dragon Balls and Earth and Guardians and Frieza and Cell and the Cell games and stuff like that, everybody who's seen the show knows exactly what I'm talking about. But if you've never seen it, you might be able to kind of follow what I'm saying, but probably not. It's probably it's probably one you're going to want to like turn off and just go to one of our other movie podcasts. Sorry, guys. I'm just keeping it real. So anyway, Cell and Piccolo start fighting, and it's just epic. It's cool. But Cell gets away or something like that, and he needs to absorb Android 17 and 18 to reach his full strength. And what he does is he ends up absorbing Android 17, and he becomes like this second form Cell. And he becomes way stronger and huger, and he becomes like way more powerful. Just to say that he becomes more powerful, and now it's like an even more struggle for our DBZ characters to fight him. So what they need to do is they need to go up to Kami's lookout, where Kami's old lookout, I guess you can say, and they need to train in this town, this doors that they walk into, and it becomes like this portal into this place where time is advanced in there, but it's not advanced on the outside. It's called the hyperbolic time chamber. You go in there, and every minute, I think it's every hour that they're in there on Earth equals out to, I'm sorry. I think it's every minute. God, I think I'm getting this wrong. Sorry, guys. I think it's like every minute or something equals to like a year. Or something. Oh, no, every hour in there equals to a year of training in there. So if they train for like 2 hours in there in real time, they've been training for like 2 years in the hyperbolic time chamber. That's so cool. I love that. I love the fact that you can go in there and you can just train for like 2 years, and when you come out, it's just been like 2 hours. That's all it's been. But it doesn't mean like you go in there and you come out and you're the same age. You actually age when you're in there. Which is cool because at some point Gohan goes in there to train, and when he comes back out, he's so much older. He becomes like a teenager when he comes out from being a boy, and that's cool. And then like even Trunks has this short, purplish looking hair, and when he goes in there and he comes out, his hair is like way freaking longer. It's awesome. It's freaking awesome. It is. And anyways, so some of our characters, Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, Gohan, they all need to go in the hyperbolic time chamber and train. Only 2 people can go in at once, I believe, though. So Vegeta and Trunks go in there first. And when they come out, they've reached this Super Saiyan. I think it's not Super Saiyan 2 yet, but it's called like, it's like the next form is like Super Vegeta and Super Trunks. And it's like this ascended form where they're just like stronger Super Saiyans. And so they come out and they start fighting Cell. And while they're fighting Cell, Goku and Gohan go in there. And now they're training. And at this point, Gohan's not a Super Saiyan or anything. He's just strong, And Goku is just a Super Saiyan. And so they're in there training, and they're training. And while they're training, Vegeta and Trunks start fighting Cell in his second form. And while they're fighting Cell in the second form, Cell just beats down Trunks, because Trunks just isn't as strong as Vegeta, and he beats down Trunks, and then Vegeta's turn is up. Now he's going to fight him, and while he's fighting them, he beats down Cell, okay? There's no, struggle here. Vegeta is strong, super Saiyan strong, and he's beating him down, and now this is where that part comes where I was telling you about Vegeta's pride. Okay, because only one of the androids has been absorbed by Cell at this point. And Cell is like, oh, Vegeta, please, don't kill me. Don't you really want to fight, me at my strongest form? And Vegeta's like, what do you mean your strongest form? You're not at your strongest form? And he's like, no, I'm not at my strongest form yet. And he's like, basically he's like, My strongest form is once I've absorbed Android 18. And he's like, so don't you want to fight me at my perfect strongest form? And it's like a real victory, the big tree fall hard. He doesn't say that. I say that. But he's like, don't you want to make the victory worth it? And Vegeta's like, yes, I do. And everyone's like, Vegeta, no, kill him. You can't keep him alive. And he's like, I'm going to keep him alive because I want to be the one who defeats Cell at his strongest, not when he's a weakling, right? And so Cell is like, cool, I'm going to go absorb Android 18, which is the female android. This part is ridiculous, and this is why I say Krillin is like a puss, okay? Because Krillin ends up getting a crush on Android 18 because she's a girl and she's pretty, I guess. And Krillin has this button that can self-destruct Android 18, and his job is to kill Android 18 before Cell can absorb her and become stronger. But since he has this like crush, he's like, I can't do it. I can't kill her. God, I know I'm letting all my friends in the Earth down, but like she kissed me once on the cheek, and now like I love her, and I can't do it. But because of Krillin's pussiness and he can't do it, basically he ends up letting her get absorbed, and Cell absorbs her and becomes perfect Cell. Okay, guys, this is where it's going to end. I am going to make this a two-parter because I still have the Cell games to talk about, and Majin Buu and Kid Buu, and all. I have so much to talk about still. So it's been an hour. It's been about an hour, so I'm going to cut this into Dragon Ball Z. I don't know how I'm going to title this, but Dragon Ball Z Part 1. Okay, I'll put it that way. It's going to be a two-parter. So, guys who have not seen this and listened, thank you so much for listening. I just want to apologize that, you probably didn't know too much about what I was talking about. Guys and gals who are listening that know what I'm talking about, I hope I was able to somehow talk in a way that wasn't too back and forth throughout the show. I hope everything I said you could follow. Forgive me. It's my first time doing a solo podcast. And I hope you tune in for part 2. I have a lot to talk about then and there. I don't need to really introduce any characters so much, so I can really just get into the grits of what the Cell games is about and what Majin Buu is about, and then tell you how ultimately this show makes me feel, what I would rate it, and all that stuff. So, because this is going to be a two-parter, I don't have any movie news. I'm not going to rate it. I'm just going to give you my contact information, which is you can message me on Twitter. You can also message me on MovieMen. Both those accounts have the same name, which is MovieMen_. And guys, I so much appreciate the feedback I've been getting from some of you. I really love that you go back and listen to our episodes, and you tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, how that movie or show made you feel. Gosh, I love interacting so much with you guys. I appreciate it so much, and please stay tuned for part 2. And if you can, I urge you, please go on iTunes, leave us a 5-star ratings and a nice review, or a bad review, I could care less. Just leave us a review and a 5-star rating. I appreciate it so much. Guys, thank you so much for the growth that our podcast has had so far. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to say appreciate it again because why not? And remember, guys, when you go home, just remember to watch a movie, man. And have a good week, everybody.